Good day, everyone. So this is Alvin Sebetero from the Philippines. So today we are going to talk about pageants, and we will be dealing with the Miss Universe pageant this year. So today I have actually posted this before in Instagram. So I decided to just create a new YouTube video so that I will be able to express myself more, and especially to those who have not seen my post on Instagram and of course on my Facebook fan page, which I posted below on this video. So today we are going to talk about on tips on who should you crown next as your representative for the Miss Universe 2018 pageant. So everything that I'm going to tell you today is just simply based on everything that we have observed, based on everything that I have observed for the previously concluded Miss Universe 2018 pageant, and of course prior to the previous edition as well. But we will only focus on the years where IMG is hosting the pageant, because as we all know, everything has changed after IMG took over the Miss Universe pageant. It's completely a whole new playing field. So now the question is who, especially this is actually might help especially to those countries who are not really performing well, because to be honest, as a pageant viewer, I would really love to see new countries placing in the finals, especially those countries who have not placed for a very long time. But I am more excited to see countries place for the very first time. So we have many countries in Miss Universe that haven't made any placement yet. We have Mauritius, Guyana, and many more. So it would be amazing to see them place again. We also have countries who have not placed for a very long time. And I'm talking about Malaysia. If I remember correctly, I think their last placement was in the 70s. We also have other countries who haven't placed for a very very long time, which surely deserves to get another placement. So hopefully this video could help you and your team in choosing the next representative for the Miss Universe 2019 pageant and so on. So we will begin. I will be giving seven tips on who should you crown next as your representative for the Miss Universe pageant. So we will start with my number one tip, which is the recycled girls, where I hope no one will take it offensively, because there is nothing offensive with the word recycled girls. So when I say recycled girls, these are actually the contestants who have competed in different pageants before, like Miss World, Miss International, Miss Supranational, Miss Grand International, or even Miss Earth in other pageants, but unfortunately they failed to take the crown. However, if you truly believe that your representative on that pageant surely deserves another shot, then go ahead and send them to Miss Universe pageant as your representative, because we shouldn't be afraid anymore that what if our representative will be ignored simply because they have already competed in a different pageant. So we should not worry about that anymore, because the Miss Universe 2018 pageant is the proof that even if you send a delegate to have competed in other pageants, they will still get the same chance as everybody else. But of course, you need to make sure that the representative you're sending is, of course, a high quality contender. So one of the three examples that I will be giving is first Marta Magdalena Stipien, who represented Canada in Miss Universe 2018. So if you all remember, she competed in Miss International 2017, where unfortunately she did not qualify even in the first cut, because we should not compare other pageants, because with the new IMG this year, it only separates its goal even more, which means that whatever the previous pageants have offered, let the girls take them as an experience to grow and develop themselves and improve as well. So let them take it as a learning opportunity so that once they go to Miss Universe, they will be a much better and improved contender. So Marta Magdalena sa PM did not qualify in Miss International 2017, and here she is. She made it through in Miss Universe 2018 pageant, coming in as one of the heavy favorites and finished in the top 10. So that's already a big deal. Second one is Akisha Albert from Curacao. She failed to place in Miss Earth 2014, but she surprised everyone and became a dark horse and stole everybody's spotlight in the Miss Universe 2018 pageant, where she successfully placed in the top 10 as well. And of course, if we are going to provide reference, let's provide a very strong reference. And who is the better reference than the winner of Miss Universe 2018 pageant, Catriona Gray from the Philippines? As we all know, she represented the Philippines in Miss World 2016, where she finished in the top 5. So, since many in the Philippines here have actually pushed and asked for her to try Miss Universe, because everybody knows the quality of Catriona, that she deserves something more than just a top 5 placement. She surely deserves the crown, and I'm very happy because everything was just destined for her, that she did not deserve the world, but she deserves the universe. And yes, she won Miss Universe 2018 because she took everything as an opportunity for her to learn and to improve herself, and came to the competition very strong. And let's just ignore all the negative comments about Catriona's victory, because everybody knows that Catriona, I'm not speaking this just simply because I'm a Filipino. I want to say this as someone who looks pageantry as a fair pageant. So I just want to say that Catriona actually deserves to win that year. It was an open victory, because even I myself, as I am watching the show, I'm even nervous. But as the show goes, it only shows that she is really fighting hard as everybody else, and she won the crown fair and square. So either way, let's go back to the number 1 tip that I gave: recycled girls. If you have a strong contender, go send them. And this tip is a shout out to my wish list for Miss Universe. I love Meenakshi Chaudhary from India, who represented in Miss Grand International and finished first runner-up. I am really hoping that she would try Miss Universe, because she surely deserves to compete in there. I just cannot believe that she only finished first runner-up, when I think she truly deserves the title in Miss Grand. But this could be a sign that she should go to Miss Universe. Another shout out probably is Indonesia's Achintia Nielsen, but I'm not sure if she's still eligible with her age. I actually forgot how old she is, but if she is eligible, she's also one of my wish list to compete in Miss Universe, because she is a strong contender, a great speaker, strong profile. So that's something that IMG would love to see in the pageant and in the contestants. So that's my tip number 1. My tip number 2 is profile, profile, profile. It is very important that you send a representative with a strong profile. And when I say profile, I'm not just talking about, the thing here is, these profiles will actually come out once the contestants share their profile with, sends their profile to the organization, and during the interviews as well, because based on what I have read before, most of the questions that is being asked on the interview is based also on the profile that they have written. So which means stronger profile, which means better questions, and you can elaborate yourself even more, because if we put ourselves in that situation, how could you ask someone something special if they have a very boring profile? So it's very important that they need to have a very strong profile in the competition. And when I say profile, I'm actually talking about the things, the works, the charities that they have done or they have helped already. because once you, as what I've said before in my previous videos, if a contestant shares something or shares her plan, like, I want to do something like this, I want to do this, if I become Miss Universe, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I will not believe any of it, because someone could be lying in front of me right now and just want to impress me and just want to throw me with all the sweetness in the world in order for me to be impressed. So I don't want that. If I am the interviewer, what I wanted to see and what I wanted to hear from the ladies are their achievements, their profiles, and their works that they have already accomplished, and something that they are already doing in their country. Because this goes to show that they're not doing this just for the sake of the pageant. They are doing this because they themselves wanted to do something better for humanity, and of course something more of a personal satisfaction. So it's very important that once you do, or once you endorse your profile to the juries or to the judges, it must be something that you have already done. And one example is last year's Miss Vietnam, the amazing He Hen from Vietnam. She is a very inspiring woman that anyone can be on top regardless of how difficult your life was. We have seen many of those stories in the past, but Miss Vietnam just simply touched everybody's heart with her profile, and we all know because after her homecoming everyone adored her, and we actually loved her story. And if it's up to me, I would really love to see her reach as far as top 3, if only the interpreter gave the exact translation of what she said, because we all know there are rumors that the translation is a bit far off from what she actually said. Another one last year with a strong profile is Kiara Ortega from Puerto Rico, who showed that after losing some weight, she actually lose a lot of weight simply because she wanted to fight for her dream, and that dream is to represent her country in Miss Universe. And that is a really powerful message, that if you wanted to do something, fight for what you want and work as much as you can to achieve your dream. And that's a really good message for the organization, because if they wanted to crown a Miss Universe, they need to crown someone who works really hard for something. Of course, Catriona Gray, her work in Tondo, Manila, in the slums of Tondo, Manila, is something that is very inspiring, as what she mentioned in her final answer. And another one is Diane Kentish Rogers from Great Britain. Do I still need to elaborate her profile? She's got a very strong and phenomenal profile. So just reading her profile alone, I'll just let her in the top right away. She is the very first Black Miss Universe Great Britain, so that is something. She already made history there. She, as what Halle Berry said, the doors has been the door, or let's just say doors because there's a lot of them. The doors has been open to anyone in Great Britain regardless of your skin color. So that is something. So that's a really strong message again that can be sent out to those who wanted to represent themselves, because for Miss Universe, especially for young girls, they wanted to have they wanted to see themselves on stage. So if I am a Black young woman, how can I see myself competing if my country hasn't crowned any Black representative? So seeing Diane Kentish Rogers win the crown is an eye-opener, a door opener for everyone, that the door has been open for everybody. So that's a really great message. So I was really happy when she got that placement, because that girl truly deserves it. My tip number 3 is watch every move and every word. Social media is a very powerful tool to spread all your goodness and also all the negative things that you have done. And with IMG, they are very particular if you have done something negative in social media. And one of the big victims before is, of course, one of our favorites as well, Venezuela's Mariam Habat, where I really do not need to elaborate, but most of the nasty attitude were documented and uploaded we do not need to specify it anymore, but that is one of the reason why she did not place, because someone is claiming that her attitude is something that they do not like at all. This, I mean, last 2018, another victim is Colombia's representative who speak against Angela Ponce's participation in Miss Universe. Since Miss Universe is all about inclusion, I understand her point. I understand her opinion because when Angela Ponce was crowned and was chosen to represent Spain in Miss Universe and became the very first transgender contestant of Miss Universe, I also have some hesitation and some negative comments. But as time goes by, I learned to appreciate that she is working as hard as everybody else in the competition, or even harder, because she needs to face the criticism of other people thrown against her. And aside from that, Angela Ponce as well followed all the legal policies to compete in Miss Universe. So she did not violate anything, she did not cheat anything. So she represented her country because she worked hard for it. And that alone made me change my decision, and especially her tribute in Miss Universe. That's where I truly appreciate that she truly deserves to represent her country in Miss Universe, and she deserves to be the first transgender to represent in Miss Universe, because that's already a stepping stone, especially to those transgenders who are planning to compete in the future. And when it comes to Colombia, unfortunately for her, since this pageant is all about inclusion, her comment and negative attacks against the participation of Spain is one of the reasons why I think she did not place in the finals. Aside from that, we also have the issue of Australia and USA talking about non-English speakers in Miss Universe. It may not be offensive, but there's always two sides to every story. There will always be people who's against it, and two people who will just let it go away. However, if I am one of the jury, I will still consider that as a big thing. Yes, they placed in the top 20, but let's just leave them out after that, because if it's up to me, I'll just reward them with the top 20 for their hard work. But since they do something like that to other contestants, I'll just leave them out right away after the first cut. And that's what actually happened to them. They did not qualify, even if USA and Australia are actually strong contenders, but those are just enough reasons to leave them out of the competition. My tip number 4 is speaking ability. And when I say speaking ability, with the new IMG, this is where the evolution of interviews came in. Because with the IMG taking over Miss Universe, it's more about representative who can speak very well, who can deliver their message very well. And as what you notice, Catriona Gray is speaking and expressing herself fluently, and in order for you to be able to have a chance in placing in Miss Universe, you need to send a representative who speaks very well. Well, I'm not really talking about speaking English perfectly, because if you cannot speak English, it's okay, because it's not really about the language. My only problem is if they will assign a poor translator for you, that will mess up your chances in Miss Universe. But let's just focus first on just speaking alone. And also assuming that you got an amazing amazing translator. When I say speaking ability, I am talking about ladies who speaks very well, who can express themselves very well, but also focusing on your behavior, personality, and the way you speak and the way you deliver your message. Because there are confident speakers, but we have to remember that there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. So that is something that you really have to be careful about. Being too confident, that could actually kill your chances as well. Aside from that, we also need a speaker who is inspiring. And aside from that, we also need a speaker who speaks with a bit of humor and wit. Because sometimes if you are too smart, because as what you notice in other pageants, even in Miss Universe, a very smart answer doesn't really guarantee victory. Even just an average answer with a great delivery, with great personality, humor, and wit could actually help you win it all. Because what are you going to do with a very serious and boring speaker, no matter how smart her words are, if it's too deep and cannot connect with the audience, it still means nothing. You need to send a representative who can speak very well, who can easily build a connection with the audience and with the listener. And for question and answer, this is actually the most difficult round to train because you cannot give something that you do not have. Because if you can speak very well, but something here is empty or very few, it still will not guarantee that you can be able to answer questions. But if you can speak very well and everything here is full, then you have a lot of you have something to say. You have a lot to say to the people, to the listener, and to the jury. So that's something that they can look forward to if you are a great speaker. So again, in order for you to be a great speaker, you need to have all these qualities that I mentioned: confidence, but with humility. So that's something difficult to balance, but if you can balance it, then it's something really good. Another one is charm, because when you speak, you also need to have some charm to keep the attention on you as you speak. And of course, humor and wit to keep the conversation lively. So that's my tip number 4, which is the speaking ability. And I'm sorry about what I have mentioned earlier earlier in this video that there are 7 tips. There's actually 6 tips only. So my tip number 5 is performance level, because even though that IMG has evolved into a pageant which focuses on profile and speaking ability, we still cannot ignore that the performance in swimsuit and evening gown still matters a lot. Because no matter how smart you are, if you gave a very poor and weak performance styling during the swimsuit and evening gown, you have to understand that your interview will not save you. You will still be eliminated. So in order for you to do very well, aside from being a great speaker, you also need to make sure that the team behind you helping you with your training and also helping you in your swimsuit training, the way you walk, the way you present yourself to the public, and of course, every move and personality, because personality matters when it comes to swimsuit and evening gown. For evening gown, additional thing that matters are also the gown choices, because no matter how confident you are, but if your gown choice is horrible, then it's still a no-no. However, if you wanted to get some lessons on how to carry horrible gowns, the perfect trainer or the perfect video to watch is the performance of 2008 Miss Colombia 2008 Taliana Vargas. That gown was horrible, but when she wore and carried that gown, it turns into something magical and phenomenal. And that's how you carry an ugly gown, but she made it something memorable and iconic. So again, tip number 5, performance level still matters a lot. And my last tip for how to win Miss Universe is, and I think this is the most important observation that I have made last year after watching Miss Universe, because with this Miss Universe, they usually have, with IMG, they have the same set of juries in the preliminaries and in the finals. So which means these juries already know your capability when it comes to speaking and performing on stage, because they already knew you after the preliminary competition and the interview. So what they are seeing in the finals are just most likely the same performance, but they have already built their own thoughts about the contestant. So my last tip is leave a strong impression during the preliminaries. You need to make sure that these judges will remember you. You need to make sure that these judges will have a reason to put you into the finals. Now, what are the reasons why I think it's very important to leave an impression? One of my examples here is Vietnam's He Hen Nye. Now, let's be honest. based on her interview, she was not able to express herself very well. But I understand that. I am not against her. She is struggling with the English language, but I still appreciate her hard work to express herself so that majority of the people, especially the English speakers, could understand her. And I really applaud her for that. But based on that one, it was actually not one of the strongest speeches that we have. We barely understand anything. She could easily be axed and be eliminated. However, I think she already made an impression and a mark to the judges, something that made them believe that this woman deserves to place or to get a high placement. So even after that struggle, I really wouldn't call that struggle, but even after that difficulty in expressing herself, she still managed to enter in the top 10 and even reached as far as the top 5 because she already left a mark with the judges. Another one is Nepal's Manita Devkota. Let's be honest, her speech is not one of the strongest that we heard. However, she is a very smart woman. She made her preliminary performance was much better, especially in swimsuit and evening gown. She was much better in preliminaries than during the live performance. So since she already left a mark and is better than other ladies who made it in, even though she is not one of the best speakers during that night, but she already left a mark to the judges, even to those who spoke better during the top 20 speech. But since she already left a mark, that's one of the reason why I believe she was placed in the top 10. Because she already left a very strong mark that made the judges feel like it's very difficult not to put her in the top 10 because she really worked hard, especially in the preliminaries. Another one is South Africa. If this is the Trump era, she could already be eliminated and not qualify in the top 5. Everybody is a witness at how she struggled in that evening gown. To be honest, I think it was one of the bottom 2 performances if I just based it on the evening gown performances alone. And most of the top 10 are actually really good. So if I have to score them, the scores wouldn't be as far. And if I dropped her on the evening gown, she could easily be out of the top 5. But since she already left a very strong mark with the judges, especially in how she delivers herself and her confidence and how she speaks, then that's one of the reasons that I see on why she enters in the top 5 and even finishing as first runner-up even after that struggle during the evening gown competition. And I'm quite hesitant to share this because this is actually just based on my own perspective. Another one is Canada's Marta Magdalena Stepien. When she came out in that evening gown, I was like, because my bet on my prediction is Catriona. And oh my gosh, this woman is giving Catriona a run for her money and could actually kill Catriona's chances of winning Miss Universe. I mean, she was divine when she came out and she commanded total attention and everybody was applauding that night. However, it's really a big question on why she did not enter the top 5. And it's probably simply because of the mark that they are leaving during preliminaries as well. Because we have seen her, based on her performance, that was actually a top 5 performance. But just on my own assumption, the judges have already, they already have their own top 5 and top 3 on their heads. So that performance in the finals could still change and sway their decision. But if they have a very strong top 5, and it cannot be taken over no matter how strong the performance is, it will still be the same top 5. And that's the situation that I saw with Canada. It's the same as, and another thing here is, Canada could actually be a huge threat if she enters the top 5. So they have to eliminate her before the interviews. That's the scenario that we saw with Cara McCullough, Miss USA 2017, and the Shauna Barber, Miss USA 2016, who are both great and smart speakers. So if I am one of the jury and I do not want them to win, but I know their capability of okay, let's put it this way. I know that they are great speakers and I know that they will ace the interviews, but I don't want them to win. So the easiest way for me to do is to eliminate them before the interviews. And that's one of the reasons that I saw why they were eliminated at that round. But that's just my own assumption. But I think it's a fair statement. I'm not offending anyone here, that's just my observation. So anyway, based on our top three, I think those three possesses all the tips that I provided, except for the two, because Venezuela's Stephanie Gutierrez and South Africa's Tamarin Green are not recycled girls, except for Catriona. But these three are deserving top three, to be honest. So that's it. Those are my tips on who should you crown to be your representative for Miss Universe. I really hope it could help, because I really think the many countries surely deserves a guide in order for them to send a strong representative to Miss Universe, because as what we have said, there's nothing more amazing than seeing new countries placing for the first time or breaking a very long drought or a very long years of non-placement. So I really hope that this video could help, and I want to thank you all for staying long and watching the entire video. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day, everyone.